I said at the beginning, my name is Craig, and I'm a member of NA and an addict. And we just wanted to take the time to share a little bit about public relations within Narcotics Anonymous. And first of all, thank you for allowing us to be with you today and to just share information. This is part of our public relations efforts within Narcotics Anonymous, is building relationships and searching out opportunities to not only build them, but to sustain relationships. So I want to share a little bit about what that means in terms of NA and some of our efforts. I've been a member and been drug-free, or as we call it, being clean. I've been clean since for 34 years. And I've been involved with public relations in some degree or manner my entire recovery. My recovery is actually a result of other people doing public relations and making sure that NA is aware or is known in the community. I currently serve on a public relations committee here in Raleigh in the local community. I'm also part of a public relations task force in the southeast part of the United States, and working to heighten the awareness of NA and building relationships in that part of the country. I've served on our world board, and you can think of that as a board of directors for our organization. I've served on that for 12 years, including chairperson. So I've been involved with public relations for many years. I want to call out what we would call part of the framework for our tenets and principles as it relates to public relations and NA. And I'm not going to go through all of these. I think the reason I just spun this up in a PowerPoint was just to give you a visual. All of this information is available for anyone who wants it. But there are a couple of things that I do want to call out as part of that framework and part of the foundation that we work internally and externally. And the first one is that we have no membership restrictions. We have no restrictions that might deny, inhibit, or delay anyone's opportunity to come into our program and practice this program as a way of life and not have anything that might restrict them. That requirement is about choice and people making a choice. No matter what drug they use or combination of drugs, anyone can make a choice to come into Narcotics Anonymous and participate in our way of life and our program. The other thing I wanted to call out, well, actually a couple here, is our posture of non-affiliation. And we cooperate with many, many organizations outside of NA, but we maintain a posture of not being affiliated with those organizations because organizations have different missions. And we don't want it's in our best interest, in their best interest, to not mingle those missions together, but to be able to stand separately so that Narcotics Anonymous can share our way of life, share the things that we do. And sometimes just being seen as being affiliated with other organizations could inhibit or dissuade some individual from participating in our program just by association with someone else. So it's important that we maintain that posture. That includes other 12-step programs, treatment centers, correctional facilities, anyone that we come in contact with that might have exposure to potential members of our program. And we just try to stay true to our mission. The other one I wanted to call out is around our position of taking no opinions, either pro or con, on other organizations' methods, their philosophy, their methodology, any civil, social, medical, legal, or religious issues. And our role is to be neutral in that and not to express opinion. The only thing we have an opinion about is our program and the effectiveness of our program. That's the framework of our public relations efforts. we find in any relationship, I'm sure you guys would agree, communications is the most important thing in any relationship. And we are adamant about building and sustaining those relationships, and it means effective communications. Here are some examples of some of the ways that we've worked to not only communicate and build those relationships, but to collaborate and to cooperate with other organizations. Public relations is not only external focus, but it's internal focus as well. The presentation that we're doing today is an example of our public relations efforts and making presentations out to government, health professionals, the media, anyone that we can share information about who we are, where we're located, and how our program operates, so that they can refer in an informed way other people to our program and give us an opportunity to help and support others. We've worked a lot during the years with the criminal justice system, not only pre-pandemic, but within the pandemic itself. In those relationships, we've put on virtual conferences with many criminal justice professionals. One of the things that I really want to call out in my last 30 seconds here is around our relationship with criminal justice and the Department of Justice and Department of Corrections throughout the United States. We've worked with 4 states in making sure that the inmates have tablets loaded with NA recovery literature. Because of the pandemic, our participation and attending some of those facilities and bringing meetings into them was virtually just cut off because of the pandemic. And so some members took it upon themselves to, in that relationship with those Department of Corrections, to work to make sure that their inmates still have access to recovery literature from NA. That was just something that has been very beneficial. It continues to grow in other states. The other thing is our relationship with researcher teams. We've been working over 10 years with different researchers and making sure it's just part of that cooperative relationship, and working with those researchers to make sure that they have information about NA, how we operate. What does it mean when we describe a spiritual awakening or higher power? What does that mean? And we get those questions from those researchers a lot, and we work with them. One of the ways that we've done that over the past 4 or 5 years is one of those researcher teams, we put together some internal surveys. We chose selected geographical parts of our country, and we recruited some members to conduct an anonymous survey about a higher power and their meaning and God as they understood him and what that actually meant, because the researcher was interested in that. So that was an example of us working internally to provide information for researchers and making sure that they have correct information about who we are. And if we don't tell them, sometimes some people won't ever know. So it's incumbent upon us in that relationship, because it's mutually beneficial, not only to them, but it's mutually beneficial to us, that others know about Narcotics Anonymous, and we continue to grow Narcotics Anonymous throughout different communities. So we hope that this presentation today can help in that respect, and that we can maintain and build a cooperative relationship with your organization. So I'm a little bit over my time, but thank you very much for allowing me to share.